If you're planning to cruise in 2025, stop what you're doing and listen carefully. Because the world of cruising has changed, quietly, drastically, and permanently. It's no longer just about sun, sea, and buffets. It's about systems, sensors, and silent safety codes working behind the smiles. And if you don't know what's changed, you could find yourself caught in a wave of confusion before you even step on board. This is not a scare story. It's a truth story, told by the sea itself. From new security protocols and environmental laws to rules that protect both passengers and crew, 2025 has become the year cruising officially entered its next era. Smarter, stricter, and, in some ways, more human than ever. So let's go beneath the surface, into the hidden world of new cruise rules, and uncover the systems, struggles, and secrets that cruise lines don't talk about in their brochures. Your journey begins not at the port, but long before that. Cruise check-in in 2025 starts in the digital space. Every major cruise line now uses biometric verification systems, facial scans, fingerprint data, digital health declarations, all uploaded days before embarkation. It feels futuristic, but here's the truth. It's not about convenience, it's about containment. In the past, outbreaks, from foodborne illness to seasonal viruses, could ripple through a ship within hours. Now, algorithms flag patterns before they begin. If your travel data doesn't align, a flagged country, an unverified vaccination, or even recent illness reported through linked medical apps, your boarding status can quietly shift to hold. You'll never see it happen. But the system does. Once, a cruise terminal was chaos. Bags piled high, families rushing, passports flashing under fluorescent lights. Now, it's eerie in its efficiency. Silent gates scan you automatically. Your wristband becomes your lifeline, your room key, your payment card, your tracker. And every scan, every swipe, feeds a living map of the ship. At any given moment, the cruise line knows where you are. Not to invade privacy, but to protect it. In an emergency, fire, medical, or evacuation, they can locate every soul on board within seconds. It's safety by surveillance, and it's the new reality of cruising. When you finally step onto the ship, it feels the same as it always did. Towering atriums, glistening railings, the smell of salt and sunscreen. But beneath that surface lies a completely rewritten rulebook. The first major change? The muster revolution. Gone are the days of crowds gathering on deck for lifeboat drills. Now passengers complete their muster briefing through interactive screens or the cruise app. You watch, confirm, and check in at your assigned station. But here's the part most passengers never realize. The system tracks compliance automatically. If you skip it, your cabin access quietly locks after 8 p.m. Your account is flagged, and a polite but firm message arrives at your door. Safety verification incomplete. Please contact guest services. You're not in trouble, but you're not invisible either. Onboard safety has become digital discipline, but the new rules go far beyond safety. They reshape how you live, eat, and even breathe while at sea. Let's talk about something invisible. The air itself. Since 2025, cruise ships have been required to install smart ventilation grids, advanced filtration networks that analyze air quality deck by deck, cabin by cabin. Every breath you take is monitored by microsensors that detect CO2, humidity, and biological particles. It's part of a sweeping environmental and health code that ships must follow to remain certified for international waters. If air readings drop below threshold, even in a single corridor, the system auto-locks that section for deep sanitation. Passengers rarely notice. Crew quietly adjust routes, and the ship breathes again. The next major change is about the sea itself. In 2025, the ocean began to speak louder, and governments started listening. Stricter marine emission laws have forced cruise lines to completely rethink how they move, burn, and clean. Old fuel systems are disappearing. Engines now run on hybrid marine gas and low-emission biofuels stored in cryogenic tanks deep below deck. Ships can switch to full electric propulsion while near ports. Silent, emission-free sailing for up to 6 hours. But that silence comes at a cost. Power consumption limits mean fewer all-night parties, reduced lighting on outer decks, and new noise curfews to protect marine life. At first, passengers complained. Now they pause and listen. For the first time in decades, you can stand on deck at midnight and hear nothing but the sea. There's also a new rule most don't notice until they break it. Drone prohibition. Personal drones are banned near all major cruise ships and ports. Too many close calls, blades near crowds, near helicopter pads, near radar domes. Now, ships carry signal scramblers. Invisible shields that disable drones automatically within a 300-meter radius. It's silent. Instant. Try flying one near the ship, and you'll watch it fall from the sky like a stone. Behind the luxury, the crew lives under their own new code, a document called the Maritime Welfare Directive. For the first time, international law limits consecutive working hours at sea. Crew members must rest a minimum of 10 hours per day, tracked digitally through wrist sensors that sync with security scanners. Fatigue once led to tragedy. Missed alarms, slow responses, mistakes in the engine room. Now, rest is law. And every shift is monitored not just by managers, but by satellites. This too is the new world of cruising. But here's the hidden truth. No cruise line advertises. Rules aren't just made for safety. They're made for reputation. The internet changed everything. Every incident, every delay, every passenger video spreads like wildfire. Cruise lines learned that one viral clip could sink public trust faster than a storm. So now, ships operate under something insiders call the Passenger Conduct Act. Every guest agrees to behavioral tracking. Aggression, intoxication, or harassment trigger real-time alerts to security teams through crowd monitoring cameras powered by AI. Infrared sensors detect sudden heat spikes, an argument, a physical altercation, and crew are dispatched before it escalates. It sounds intrusive, but it's protective. Because not every danger at sea comes from the ocean. There's another layer, one you'll feel, not see. The Environmental Responsibility Pledge. When you check in digitally, you now agree to a carbon code, a personal footprint tracker that measures your water use, waste, and energy consumption on board. Every shower, every meal choice, every light left on. At the end of your trip, your app shows your ocean impact score. Some call it virtue signaling, but others see it as accountability, a mirror showing us what it takes to sail in comfort while protecting the planet below. Then comes the part few talk about, the new age restriction laws. Starting in 2025, certain adventure activities now have higher minimum ages, not to exclude, but to preserve safety. Glass slides, surf simulators. Even certain deck zones now require smart wristband verification before access. And here's the eerie part. Those bands can deactivate instantly during rough seas. If the ship detects instability beyond a safety threshold, all risk zones auto-close. No human decision. Just programming and prevention. The sea calls the shots. It's easy to miss how much the industry has changed. Cruise lines once sold freedom. The floating city where anything goes. Now, it's a balance between freedom and foresight. But what passengers often don't see, what they can see, is that these new rules were written in response to mistakes. Real ones. Tragic ones. A ship delayed because of a viral outbreak. A crew collapse from exhaustion. A lifeboat jammed during a test drill. Each headline quietly added another paragraph to the safety code. And by 2025, those codes became a new constitution for the sea. So, what does this all mean for you, the traveler? It means your experience at sea will be smoother, safer, and cleaner than ever before, but also quieter, more disciplined, more connected. Cruising has matured. It is not a carefree escape anymore. It is a collaboration between you and the ocean. The days of reckless selfies on balconies, buffet chaos, and ignoring drills are fading fast. Now, you're part of a moving ecosystem, a delicate machine where your behavior, your attention, even your silence matters. There's something poetic about it, really. For centuries, the ocean demanded respect. Now, the rules of 2025 finally give it back. From emission limits to waste recycling, from digital safety networks to energy curfews, every change tells the same story. The sea is not ours to conquer. It's ours to coexist with. And as strange as it feels, this new, stricter world of cruising, it may be the only way to keep the dream alive for generations to come. So, before you cruise in 2025, remember this. The rules are not walls. They're waves, guiding, shaping, teaching. Each one written in salt water and history. Every time you tap your wristband, watch a safety video, or hear a soft announcement over the speakers, that's not control. That's care. Because somewhere, deep below deck, someone is working so you never have to worry. And somewhere out there, the ocean is watching, reminding us to respect her power. The age of careless cruising is over. The age of conscious cruising has begun. You may not see the changes, you may not feel them, but they are everywhere, woven into the heartbeat of every ship that dares to sail the seas in 2025. And if you think this is the whole story, you haven't seen what's coming next. Because beneath the deck, there's more. New surveillance systems, secret crew protocols, and passenger incidents that change the industry forever. Beneath the polished marble and golden chandeliers, the ship has another face, one the guests almost never see. Here, the air is thick and the ceilings pressed low. This is where the new cruise rules began. 1. The room that never sleeps. In 2025, every modern cruise ship carries a hidden chamber, the Operations Integrity Center. It looks like a small control room, rows of monitors glowing blue, crew in navy jumpsuits speaking softly into headsets. From this room, a handful of officers track everything: passenger flow, air pressure, vibration, waste, even crowd noise. Every camera, every sensor, every digital wristband connects here. On older ships, this kind of control was impossible. Now it's mandatory. Regulations call it continuous operational awareness. If a sensor detects an odor in a corridor, a technician is dispatched before the human nose can smell it. If someone slips near a pool, the system recognizes the fall pattern, and medical teams are alerted automatically. A decade ago, response could take minutes. Now it's seconds. Because seconds are the difference between inconvenience and incident. 2. A fire that changed everything. It started as a spark, a forgotten towel on a hot balcony light. The fire never reached passengers, but the smoke did. A video leaked online within minutes. By morning, regulators had already drafted new code. That's why, in 2025, open flame devices are banned across all cruise lines. No candles in cabins, no sparklers at parties, no lighters outside designated zones. Every balcony is now equipped with a microsensor that detects heat signatures beyond safe levels. If you light something you shouldn't, alarms won't blare. The system will quietly cut power to that section and summon security. Guests rarely notice, but that one small change saved lives before it ever needed to. 3. Waste at sea. Every cruise ship produces the waste of a small city. Thousands of meals, showers, and laundry cycles each day. In 2025, the sea demanded accountability. Now, below deck sits the eco-processing hub, a labyrinth of tanks, grinders, and filtration tubes. Here, wastewater is sterilized, filtered, and monitored by digital spectrometers. A single reading out of range triggers an automatic report to maritime authorities. No one can dump waste secretly anymore. Everything is logged by satellite. The crew joke that the ocean now signs every receipt. For passengers, it means cleaner seas and clearer consciences. For cruise lines, it means there's no hiding mistakes. 4. Crew confessions. Below deck, crew cabins are compact but smart. Foldable beds, air quality monitors, soundproofing panels. Every door carries a motion tracker, ensuring rest hours are honored. If you move too often during mandated sleep, supervisors check in, not to punish, but to protect. One veteran engineer told me quietly. For years we ran on caffeine and adrenaline. Now the ship won't even start the engines unless every department logs full rest. It forces us to be human again. That's the hidden heart of the 2025 rules. Automation that defends humanity. 5. The silent emergency. The most unnerving rule is one passenger will never experience, unless disaster strikes. Every ship now carries an auto-containment protocol. If fire, flooding, or contamination occurs in one area, magnetic doors seal within seconds. Airflow stops. Lights shift to blue to calm passengers. But here's the secret. Those doors aren't controlled from the bridge. They were controlled by an independent AI network, built to act even if the crew cannot. It's not science fiction. It's regulation. After several near misses, where human hesitation cost precious time, the sea forced technology to take command. And that's the paradox of 2025 cruising. Trust handed to a machine to keep humans safe. 6. The passenger who vanished. Not every rule came from tragedy, but some did. Years ago, disappearances at sea made headlines. In 2025, that's nearly impossible. Every balcony door now has geo-latch technology. Open it after midnight, and sensors record your presence outdoors. If no motion is detected for 30 seconds, a silent alert pings security. It's not paranoia, it's prevention, because the sea gives no second chances. 7. Weather rules. The climate has become more violent, and ships had to adapt. New dynamic route regulations require vessels to surrender course decisions to AI-assisted forecasting. Captains still command, but algorithms decide when and where to sail, avoiding microstorms invisible to radar. Sometimes this means detours, cancelled stops, or rougher crossings, but far fewer emergencies. Passengers may grumble about schedule changes, unaware that those extra miles could have saved their voyage. 8. Food under surveillance buffets are no longer open buffets. Thermal cameras monitor food surfaces for unsafe temperature drops. Each tray carries an RFID tag that logs how long it's been exposed. Once the timer runs out, staff receive a soft ping, and the dish disappears before anyone notices. Food waste turns into biofuel pellets that feed the ship's hybrid engines. Nothing, not even leftovers, leaves the system untouched. 9. Water. The new currency. Every passenger's wristband now measures water consumption. Long showers, constant laundry, and careless faucet use increase your eco-impact score. Most guests shrug it off, but those scores determine future loyalty perks, a quiet incentive to conserve. One captain put it best. We can ask the ocean to take care of us if we refuse to take care of her. 10. Noise laws of the sea. Few realize that underwater noise once killed marine life near major ports. In 2025, ships must lower decibel output during migration seasons. That's why you'll notice softer engine sounds, dimmer parties, calmer nights. The ocean sleeps. And now, so do you. 11. Digital boundaries cruising once meant disconnecting. Now it means being selectively connected. Satellite internet covers the whole vessel, but many areas run on quiet zones. If you enter, notifications and calls disable automatically. It's mandatory digital rest, part of the Passenger Wellness Act 2025. Complaints were loud at first, but something surprising happened. People started talking again. 12. Emergency evacuation. 2.0. Old drills taught passengers to gather and wait. Now, smart wristbands guide them individually through illuminated paths that adapt in real time to fire or flooding. Every escape route can remap itself like a living maze. If smoke blocks deck 6, the lights turn red, arrows shift, and the system reroutes the crowd. There's no shouting, no panic, just flow. This innovation came after a simulation proved human memory fails under fear. So the new rule replaced memory with guidance. 13. Port transparency. At every destination, ships must now disclose their emissions and waste logs to local authorities before docking. Ports can deny entry if readings exceed thresholds. It's accountability at a global scale. environmental passports for ships. Passengers may just see longer waits before disembarkation, not realizing they're witnessing a negotiation between industry and planet. 14. Medical miracles. Medical bays have evolved into maritime clinics. With AI diagnostics and telemedicine links, onboard doctors consult with land-based specialists instantly. If you fall ill mid-ocean, lab samples are scanned, uploaded, and results return within minutes. Even minor issues trigger anonymous reports to the World Maritime Health Network, helping prevent global outbreaks before they start. The rule: transparency saves time. Time saves lives. 15. The human element. For all the code, data, and automation, one thing hasn't changed: people. The crew still smile through exhaustion, comfort anxious travelers, and guide children to safety drills. They are the heartbeat behind the rules. 2025 regulations now require mandatory emotional resilience training for all staff, sessions that teach communication, empathy, and crisis calm. Because no algorithm can look you in the eyes and tell you everything will be okay. 16. The quiet rebellion. Not every passenger loves the new world. Some miss the chaos, the wild nights, the freedom without footprints. But for every critic, there's someone grateful. A family who feels safer. A crew who finally sleeps. A planet that breathes a little easier. Cruising hasn't lost its soul. It's found its conscience. 17. Legacy of the sea. The ocean has always demanded respect, and the new rules are simply echoes of that demand. Each sensor, each code, each quiet adjustment is a promise. Never again will ignorance steer the ship. You may never read these laws, but you will feel their presence. In the calm hum of engines, the clean air on deck, the peace of mind in knowing someone, somewhere, is watching out for you. So when you board a ship in 2025, don't see the rules as restrictions. See them as a love letter from humanity to the sea. Every beep, every scan, every silent protocol is a whisper saying, "We've learned, we'll do better, we'll keep you safe." Because the ocean never forgets, and neither should we. You've just sailed through the unseen side of the world's greatest journey. And the next time you hear that distant horn, remember, you're not just cruising through water, you're cruising through history.